Language is a writer's toolkit, and writers use language to tell a story, evoke a mood, and paint a lasting image. Particularly in poetry, the writer's challenge is to join precise words and phrases to create a feeling or an image. Change one word and the meaning might be completely different. After you watch this short video about the civil rights movement, we'll consider how one poet has used language to express her feelings about this topic. The 1950s and 60s marked a difficult period in American history. Segregation was legal, meaning blacks and whites studied in different public schools, ate at separate lunch counters, and rode in different sections of buses. The idea was that separation was okay if the facilities were of equal quality. But many African Americans felt that separate often meant unequal. They were determined to gain the equality they deserved. They marched and protested until they were granted the rights guaranteed by the Constitution. One woman who became a symbol of the civil rights movement was Rosa Parks. A seamstress from Montgomery, Alabama, Parks staged a peaceful protest in 1955 that helped push the civil rights struggle forward. Like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., she believed in civil disobedience, or protest through nonviolence. Rosa Parks was riding in the first seat of the African American section of a bus in Montgomery. According to the law of segregation, when a bus began to fill up, African American riders had to give up their seats to white riders. Parks's bus began to fill up. When a white rider asked for her seat, she refused. The driver called the police and Parks was arrested. Many people were shocked that the police would arrest a woman. As a result, African Americans began a boycott of the bus system in support of Rosa Parks. The Montgomery bus boycott lasted over a year until the Supreme Court ruled that segregation on public transportation was illegal. Rosa Parks' acts of quiet civil disobedience had a profound influence on the civil rights movement. Let's take a closer look at Rosa Parks' heroic act by studying a poem by Rita Dove, former poet laureate of the United States.
Rosa. How she sat there, the time right inside a place so wrong it was ready. That trim name with its dream of a bench to rest on, her sensible coat. Doing nothing was the doing, the clean flame of her gaze carved by a camera flash. How she stood up when they bent down to retrieve her purse. That courtesy.
People sometimes recognize poems by their rhyming stanzas. But this poem does not rhyme. Let's listen to Rita Dove discuss her motivation for writing this poem the way she did.
One of the things I wanted to do, I felt that it would be, to make this poem into a very formal poem, a rhymed poem, would kind of be, it would seduce us too much through the music of the rhyme. It's a very raw moment that's being described here. It is a moment in United States history that we should be ashamed of, the fact that a woman could be arrested for sitting in the quote-unquote wrong place on a bus. And that she stands up and then waits until they retrieve her purse. She had that much presence, and shows that the people who are also arresting her are not necessarily, you can't just paint them absolutely, as horrible people. They were policemen doing their job, and whoever bent to pick up that purse was probably also embarrassed and ashamed that this moment was happening. Now, all of that seemed to me to be too rough of a subject for the soothing rhythms of meter and rhyme.
In each stanza, Professor Dove uses imagery to paint a picture for the reader. Let's listen to her thoughts on the inspiration behind the poem.
what I was trying to do at this point in the poem is to point out that sometimes there's a historical moment where it seems as if the right person comes together at the right time into this wrong moment, and it explodes from that moment. A historical moment isn't preordained, isn't predetermined. So part of what I was trying to do in this poem was to make that moment very intimate. The moment when she stood up finally to be taken off to jail. And to remind us that she is a human being, had a purse, who had a sensible coat, who was a small woman, and that she could change history. And if she could change history, that means each of us can change history. Each individual can make a difference. And that's really what a lot of this poem is about.
Writers use language to tell a story, evoke a mood, and paint a lasting image. Particularly in poetry, the writer's challenge is to join precise words and phrases to create a feeling or an image. Write a poem about an important event in history. Choose words that set the mood for your reader.